This is the supported reading for the Munich Putsch. The key words for this particular activity: Putsch, an armed uprising against the government, and a beer hall, which in Germany is a drinking club. Hitler became leader of the Nazi Party in 1920. By 1923, they were still a small party of only 3,000 members, and they were mainly located in Bavaria. Please look at the map. In November 1923, Hitler tries to seize power in Germany, but why in 1923? The Nazis believed that the army would support them and abandon their support for the government. They thought this because General Ludendorff, a former army leader, was a friend of Hitler's. The Nazis thought that Ludendorff would be able to persuade the army to join the putsch against the government. The local Bavarian government also held strong right-wing political views. They too were plotting against the Weimar government. Hitler was sure they would support the Nazi Party in an uprising. Stresemann had called off the passive resistance and began paying the reparations again to the French. The right wing in Germany, who believed in a strong country, felt this was a humiliating climb down and showed how weak the government was. Hitler believed it was the right time for a putsch. On November the 8th, Kahr, the leader of the Bavarian government, was holding a meeting at a beer hall in Munich. Hitler, Goering, and 600 stormtroopers arrived and took over. At gunpoint, they persuaded von Kahr to support their uprising. Then the Nazis made a big mistake. They let Kahr go. His promise at gunpoint meant nothing, as he informed the government about Hitler's plans, and they sent the army to crush the revolt. The Nazis continued the putsch. The next day, they marched into the Munich city centre, and they met the police and the army who were blocking their path. The police used rubber truncheons and rifle butts to push the Nazis back. Hitler shouted to them, "Surrender." Then a shot was fired, and no one knows who fired the first shot, and a hail of bullets followed, sweeping the streets from either side. Hitler fell and dislocated his shoulder. The shooting lasted only a minute, but 16 Nazis and 3 policemen lay dead in the street. 2 days later, Hitler was found and arrested. The trial. This is a photograph taken before the trial. We have Hitler and we have Ludendorff. The trial gave Hitler a national platform on which to speak. He took full responsibility for the putsch, showing he was a strong leader. He greatly impressed his audience with his speaking skills and strength of nationalist feeling. Newspapers reported the trial, which meant everybody knew what the Nazis stood for. Hitler's performance at the trial influenced the judges. He was treated leniently, fairly, lightly. He was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment, but served less than 9 months before being released. In prison, he had his own room and was allowed as many visitors as he wanted. He spent most of the time writing his book, Mein Kampf, which translates as My Struggle, which set out a lot of the Nazi Party beliefs. Although the years after the putsch were a difficult time for the Nazis, Hitler emerged from it as a much stronger figure. It showed Hitler that he should try to gain power legally through elections. As you read through this information sheet, you can do a reading for meaning activity highlighting information that will help you explain what caused the Nazis to attempt an uprising in one colour, what happened during the event in another colour, and finally what the main consequences of the putsch were in a final colour.